everybody! I'm Melissa. Thank you so much for following along as I explore the unique charm of Japan's Takarazuka Revue. So in last week's episode, I spoke about what happens when a Takarazuka actress is sick or injured, and how roles are shuffled around due to the lack of a formal understudy system. In this week's episode, I'll be attempting to answer the question, what happens to Takarazuka in a crisis? So I'll be looking particularly at how Takarazuka has responded to the current COVID-19 crisis, as well as looking at how natural disasters have affected Takarazuka in the past. So first, the COVID-19 crisis has had a huge impact on Takarazuka, probably beyond what anyone could have possibly envisaged. In the beginning, when the crisis first started to emerge around in February of this year, Takarazuka took steps to reduce contact between actresses and fans. So tea parties where actresses interact with fans were cancelled, and the passing of fan letters directly to actresses became prohibited. Actresses also started to wear face masks entering and exiting the theatres, and the star troupe, while performing in Genyo no Tani, continued to dance in the aisles. However, there were no handshakes or high fives with audience members. Then, as the crisis worsened, Takarazuka announced that all performances would be cancelled. Initially, this was just a temporary measure, and the theatres actually reopened for a few days with extra measures, including machines to check audience members' temperatures. However, this was not to last, and shortly after, Takarazuka announced the cancellation of all productions for the foreseeable future. This affected not only the main productions being staged in the Hyogo and Tokyo Takarazuka theatres, but also side productions, including national tours. In April, Takarazuka provided an update. It suggested the performances may recommence from July, and that rather than cancelling all productions, the schedule would instead be pushed back. However, exactly how this will work remains really unclear. For the main productions, where Takarazuka left off, the star troupe was about to start the Tokyo run of Genyo no Tani, and the flower troupe about to start the Hyogo run of Haikara-san ga Toru. It was announced in June that the flower troupe would begin the production of Haikara-san ga Toru from July 17th in Hyogo. However, no update has been provided on the Tokyo Takarazuka Theatre. While the state of emergency has been lifted in Tokyo, the risk of a second wave remains high. As a result, it is difficult to know whether the star troupe will indeed stage its production of Genyo no Tani in Tokyo. It may be that the performances won't recommence until the flower troupe finishes the Hyogo run of Haikara-san ga Toru around September, and then moves to Tokyo, possibly September or October. In addition, when the theatres reopen, measures will be incorporated to allow for social distancing. In particular, the theatres will not be at 100% capacity. Because Takarazuka has its own theatres in Hyogo and Tokyo for main productions, pushing back main productions, while difficult, is not impossible. Takarazuka has also announced that the graduation dates of actresses will be pushed back as well. This includes the top combi of the Snow Troupe, Futo Nozomi and Mae Kiho, and the top combi of the Moon Troupe, Tamaki Ryo and Misono Sakura. However, scheduling becomes a lot more complicated when you look at the side productions. These productions are staged all over Japan, mostly in theatres not owned by the Takarazuka Revue company. Rescheduling is really difficult. These theatres are booked out a long time in advance, and it remains really unclear what these theatres will do. Will they follow Takarazuka's lead in pushing back all productions? Or will the productions slated to be performed during the COVID-19 crisis be cancelled entirely? Many of these side productions had already been fully or partly rehearsed, costumes had been designed and created, and sets and props had been built, and it seems like it would be an incredible waste if we were not able to see these productions at some point in the future. However, for now, this remains a real unknown. Outside the productions themselves, Takarazuka has taken measures to keep up its profile during the COVID-19 crisis and allow fans the chance to enjoy Takarazuka from home. Videos have been posted to social media, including short video messages from actresses to fans, along with clips from productions. Takarazuka's monthly magazines have continued to be produced, with segments updating fans on how actresses have been spending their free time. Previously, Takarazuka did not really have that much of a social media presence, so it does seem like the COVID-19 crisis has pushed the company to develop further in this direction. For many fans, Takarazuka is more than a hobby, it's really their world. Takarazuka brings so much happiness to the lives of so many people, so the inability to watch productions or meet actresses has truly had a hard impact on so many people's lives. For the actresses, I can only imagine that there is a lot of anxiety and heartbreak. Actresses spent months rehearsing for productions only for them to be cancelled or pushed back. Being a Takarazuka actress is an incredibly tough lifestyle, and many actresses are only able to maintain this lifestyle because they are driven by a desire to make their fans happy, making the current inability to interact with fans truly heartbreaking. I can only hope that with the recent removal of the declaration of emergency and the current decline of COVID-19 cases across Japan, we are on the road to recovery. So while the COVID-19 crisis has had an unprecedented effect on Takarazuka, it's certainly not the first time in Takarazuka's more than 100-year history that performances have been cancelled. Actually, all the way back in World War II, Takarazuka productions were cancelled for a period of time, and the Tokyo and Hyogo Takarazuka theatres were requisitioned. It took some time for these theatres to be reclaimed, so during this period, Takarazuka performed productions across Japan in different theatres. Outside of World War II, Japan also experiences its fair share of natural disasters, including earthquakes, tsunamis, and typhoons. Occasionally, these do result in the cancellation of performances. However, Takarazuka has shown an incredible amount of resilience, for example, continuing to perform even after a large earthquake hit Japan in 2011. In addition, in 2016, during a snow troop performance of Private Detective Caleb Hunt, there was an earthquake in Tottori. The stage curtain was lowered so that the equipment could be checked, and then it was opened again so that the performance could be resumed. Performances will sometimes be cancelled where a disaster is large enough that it causes the major train lines to go down. This is particularly the case during typhoons, as it can be dangerous to go outside. So for example, in October 2019, a large typhoon hit Tokyo on the final weekend of the Star Troop's run of God of Stars. This was particularly disastrous as top star Kurenai Yuzuru was set to graduate that weekend. Due to the typhoon, the Saturday performances were cancelled. However, the final Sunday performances were able to go off basically without a hitch. Takarazuka, where there are cancellations, does not usually stage substitute performances. Instead, refunds are given for tickets. So that's what happens to Takarazuka in a crisis. Essentially, the Takarazuka Revue company is incredibly reluctant to cancel performances. However, sometimes this becomes inevitable in the face of a great natural disaster or other crisis. The current COVID-19 crisis remains particularly worrying, not only in terms of the cancellation of productions, but also the health of the Takarazuka Revue company going forward. That said, Takarazuka has a history spanning over 100 years and has withstood world wars and countless other disasters. I hope that Takarazuka emerges strong from the COVID-19 crisis, with an increased focus on developing ways for fans to enjoy Takarazuka without attending the theatre. In next week's episode, I'm going to be looking at the special productions staged by the Takarazuka Revue company every year involving multiple troupes, as I attempt to answer the question, what is the annual Takarazuka special? I hope you'll tune in. And if you've been enjoying this series so far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care. Bye!